everybody. Welcome to the Multifamily Legacy Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Peterson, and today we are continuing our series on the staff and the people at my properties to give you a look of the inside, the inner workings of how we make magic at our properties and how we really move the needle. And like, this business is not complicated, but this business is about people, and people do make the difference in any company. Whether it's small, big, or little, it's really the people that generate the value of the thing that you do. And so we're going to jump into this. It's going to be a great podcast. But before we do it, though, a word from our sponsors.
Hey, this is Shelly Peterson, Corey's better half. My husband shares amazing stories of the good, bad, and ugly of apartment investing. And while many of you want to do this yourselves, we have found that a lot of you would like to invest alongside with us. If that is you, I want to invite you to get on a short webinar where we discuss our deal room and how you can be a part of our private investor club. Go to kahunainvestments.com/webinar and register now. You won't be disappointed. Again, go to kahunainvestments.com/webinar, and we look forward to sharing our private deal room with you.
All right, we're back. I'm excited to talk about one of our we'll call them CAs, Chloe Smith, on the podcast today, coming from Evansville, Indiana, and really excited. We just had actually, I'm not sure where in the segment, we had Madison, which was the manager of the property, but they are kind of a tag team, and they've done really, really well with this property. So, Chloe, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, just to give a little background of, I always like to say, what is a CA? What is that position, and what does that position do?
Yeah, so a CA basically does every little just behind the scenes kind of thing. I think my favorite thing is the tours. I think it's cool to see people's face light up when they walk in the room and they're like, wow, this is really nice. Like, I can see my kids here. I can see myself here. So that's one of my favorite things. But we also sign leases. We get people in the building. We talk to people on the phone. We answer the phones. We also call people when they submit applications. We kind of explain to them how our property works and see if that's something that they're interested in, and then get the ball rolling on their process while also helping them kind of understand that we are really there for them and that we want them to have a good experience, which is also my favorite part, because I know that, like, sometimes when you get moved in college, you don't have a good experience, but I definitely am super excited. We have moved in actually in 3 days. And I think it's going to go great. And we've been cleaning apartments and getting stuff ready. So I think it's going to be great.
Almost a jack of all trades, truly, right? From leasing to phone calls to following up to, it's really a bunch of little things, but it's super, super important. So, but let's back up and digress a little bit. Let's talk about how you came to our property. How did you find us? Or how did we find you?
So I actually lived on campus my first semester of sophomore year, and I just had some roommate conflicts and it wasn't really working out. And I kind of just wanted to get off campus.
And this is not when she had a bad experience, because this is when we had some different managers on site.
Yeah, but I wanted my own space. So we looked into Eagle Village. We came for a tour. We liked it. And so we signed our leases. And when we moved in, we actually did have not the best experience. It didn't end up getting fixed, but it was a little bit of a rocky start. And so I remember seeing on Instagram that they were hiring. And so I reached out to a past property manager and I was like, I would be interested. I had my interview. And then the first day I came in was Madison's first day by herself in the office. And so Madison and I have been here from the beginning together by ourselves pretty much. But yeah, it's kind of a crazy story, but I'm glad.
We've already told Madison's crazy story, and it was so it's awesome that this is kind of the preview of that, of how it happened. Because I remember when the phone calls, she's like, oh, I found an ace, right? So let's talk about, you're going to college now, right?
Yeah.
Right. And this is in what's the college called? I should know this, but I don't.
At the University of Southern Indiana.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. And you're studying to be what?
A dental assistant.
Dental assistant. Awesome. Right. Yep. And so you initially came into our property, and then and this is, listen, we've had some challenges. So this is when I say people make and break your staff, right? We've had some bad people. There's different management companies that we hired for them to do the job. And it was like, it's so frustrating as an owner, because you have these expectations that you want to hit. And then when your staff and people are not doing it, and there's no control. And it was a horrible experience for us. And we really wanted to get a hold of it. And so we had to go into create our own property management company, which is what we've done. And then we found Madison, and then we found, and we just, all these things kind of fell into place the way they were supposed to. And even though you initially got hired through the other company, right? Because that's what we had to do. But we already had plans. We already knew what was going on. And Madison kind of knew the plans a little bit too, right? Now, but you're a sorority. You're in a sorority.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that gave you lots of access to like a lot of people.
Yeah, I work on campus as well, in a couple different jobs. But so like this summer, I was an orientation leader, and I got to meet all the new freshmen when they were coming in. And then last year, I worked for intramurals, and I got to like help with all the teams. I'm a supervisor there, so I know like too many people on campus. But it actually ended up benefiting me. People come in all the time, and I'm like, oh hey, like how are you? And then they sign a lease before they walk out the door.
Yeah. Hey, and I just want you, if everybody's listening right now, so Chloe is not afraid of talking and communicating. It's one of her strengths. She's very, very good at this, right? And so you may not know this, Chloe, but we, when you take a test for us, right, we have it's called a predictive index test, and we only hire 9s and 10s, right? And so in that CA position, you got to have a very good outgoing personality. Like you got to be a people person, which you've probably never met a stranger, right?
No.
Yeah. So everybody, and that's, you truly exude what we were looking for in that aspect. And it's funny, these predictive index tests don't lie, by the way, guys. And if you're not using predictive index, you really should try, or like a Kobe test or something that helps understand the personality profiles, because, someone like Chloe that's touching your people at a very high level, right? You want a people person, someone that can relate. It's relatable to other people. But at the same time, if you're trying to hire a accountant, right? A controller, those people are totally different. They're usually not people persons, right? They usually want to be in a hole somewhere in the basement, and they want to be by themselves. And so you put around a bunch of people that like they get nervous. But for you, Chloe, this is natural.
Yep.
So tell me what you love about your job.
I love my coworkers, and I'm telling you right now, it's very hard to find somewhere where you actually work with a full staff of people that you like, and there's like not even one person that you dislike. Like our staff is great. We work so well together. Even like our maintenance team, like we all are super communicative, and we love like bouncing ideas off of each other, which is also my favorite thing. Like Madison will open her door after she gets done with something, and she's like, can you come look at this? Like, I want to see if somebody else thinks the same way I think. Or Jess will say, I'm doing these move-in packets. I've got 5. I don't know where they go. If I say their name out loud, tell me if you recognize it. And I just really, I worked in a pizza place in high school for like 5 years, and I loved the staff, but there's always somebody you just don't get along with. That's just how it is. But like on our property, genuinely, like we all have so much fun. Like we've been cleaning all of the units ourselves this turn, and like I'm not a cleaner at all. Like I told Madison when she first said, I was like, I'm staying in the office. I was like, I'm never getting out. I'll answer the phone all day, every day. I will even talk to people about rent. I was like, I'm not getting out of here. And I've cleaned like 7 apartments. Like she can get me to do whatever she wants. And I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, but that's the team. So it's the team.
Yes.
And that was our vision in the very beginning. And Madison has taken that idea and made it blossom through all of you. Now, is it a special gift that she has, or what makes that? Is it just the right people for the mix?
She's just amazing.
Yeah.
Like I cannot say enough good things about Madison. Like I know y'all already had your podcast, but like she's the best. Like she works with you. She knows who works well together. So like when we have interviews, like she will be like, I know this person. Like as soon as we hired Jess, our leasing manager, she was like, she's going to be great. She's like, she's going to fit in. She's going to like work well with us. And everybody that we've hired has worked great. Like she's just so personable.
She has the magic touch to bringing everybody together and be like,
she's not a property manager. She's a friend and a property manager.
Yeah. Yeah. They've created a cohesive team for everybody, including James, the maintenance guy.
Yeah.
Right. Which we'll probably get James on here as well.
Yeah.
Because one of the things, and you weren't there when I didn't get to see you when I was there at the property, I don't think. Or did I? Or did we?
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, that's right. I have you on video. Yeah. Because I walked in, I was like, oh my God, there were some things that I really wanted done, like cleaning wise, right? I bought these, I can't think what they're called right now, but organizer shelving. And you guys erected it, got everything organized. I was like, oh my gosh. But then, like, you didn't stop there. You guys did remodeled the whole area, the whole property, like the whole game room and stuff. And it just looked amazing, right? So let's talk about like the road to the sell. So one of the things is the CA, like their job is to people go on tours, right? And there's an art to that, I believe. I think there's a really good art to that. So let's talk about your process of what do you do to engage and like as you're starting to walk and take people on, like just give us how you do it.
Yeah. So the first thing I say is I ask them if they're a student, because we house students as well as non-students. So to get the vibe of how the tour is going to feel, I always ask if they're a student. If they say they're a student, the very first thing I say is look over there. And I point because our sorority houses, where I'm actually at right now, are right across the street. And I'm always like, you could spit on them. Like they're right there. You can walk to campus. You can bike to campus. Like campus is so close. They even Grubhub to Eagle Village, which is amazing. And then if they're not a student, I say, that's perfectly fine. The other cool thing we have on property is that we have basketball courts and sand volleyball courts for all ages, all people. And we also have our own balls that you can come in and grab and use whenever you want. And since our clubhouse is open 24/7, that's also a super big selling point. Everybody loves that we have the Wii in there. We have the flat screen and everybody's super.
And that's something new we did this year, by the way, because that was never done before. I was like, gosh, and it was ready. We just need to get some bolts and things to like make where we could lock up kind of the office. And it was ready to do that. We just didn't do it. So you guys did it.
Yeah. And people are extremely respectful of it. I mean, I've never came in one morning and been like, oh my gosh, it's disgusting in here. Like everybody on property loves it. They go play basketball and they're like, it's really hot. I need a break. They'll come in, they'll sit down in the clubhouse, watch some TV with their friends. It's great. And honestly, I mean, it's amazing coming back from a tour. And then they're like, now I want to see this.
Yeah.
And you're like, go for it. Like walk around. This is like our prized possession. Like go look at it, because we have spent so much time just making that space like welcoming. And so it's really cool to see people really enjoy it.
Yeah. And so then you get them back from the whole tour, right? So you're showing them the units and everybody's like, okay, I got it. And by the way, you guys have done a really good job in just filling up, as much as we can. We've had issues and challenges with this property. Part of it's just because of the college itself. It's not as enrolled as it used to be, right? It's had like a 20% decrease in students, right? But also we're still dealing with some reputation management, right? And that is quickly being fixed. And really, you guys are leading the charge on that right now.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you close them? So they come back. How do you get those leases signed?
Yeah. So honestly, this is my least favorite part of the whole process, because I always find myself at like a standstill of waiting for them to kind of let me know how they felt about it, because I'm always nervous that if I push too quickly or too hard, that they're going to freak out and retreat back, because that's how I am as a person. And so I always wait until they say the first word. So like I will talk to them. Obviously, I'm not just sitting in silence, but they'll say something and they'll be like, I really liked that you have a washer and dryer in unit, or I really like that you can do furnished or unfurnished. And I'm always like, that's awesome. Like, would you be interested in filling out an application? Normally, 9 times out of 10, we have no application fee. So they say yes. We fill out an application together, sitting there. I take their ID. We do everything. I ask them all the questions, so that way we make sure it's fully done. And then honestly, sometimes they have to talk to their parents if they didn't come in with their parents, but normally we'll do that. And then they either take time to think about it, or I send them a lease right there.
Yeah. Beautiful. Right. Take them off the market.
Yeah.
And really, and you guys have done a phenomenal job on that when people say yes, especially now, but most of your applicants don't actually come and visit the property right away.
Correct.
Right.
A lot of them never even come.
Yeah. So then what is the process for that? So that's a phone call, like someone either opted in or responded to our email or something, right? And then you've got to get the lead and you got to go follow up. And how does that go?
Yeah. So every morning when we come in, Jess has like a list of all the applications that were completed throughout the night or any that were open. And then Van, which is our other CA, and we both kind of divvy it up and tackle it and just call the people. And if they've completed it, I will call them and I'll say, are you still interested in living at Eagle? Normally, again, 9 times out of 10, if they've done it, they'll say yes. And then you say, what are you looking for? Are you looking for furnished, unfurnished? Do you have a pet? Would you want to do male, female, or co-ed? You ask them when they want to move in date, and then you generate a lease. And normally, unless they are like extremely close, they will just sign the lease online, and we won't see them till move in day.
Oh, wow. Right. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Now, do they ask for like, can you send us more information with the units or like stuff like that? So what do you links?
Absolutely. So some of the websites that people find Eagle Village through actually list that we have a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom option, which we don't. And we've been trying to get those taken off, but we'll have people call.
It's actually one, and it's usually it's where Madison lives.
Yep. And we have people call all the time and they say, I'm really interested in a 3-bed, 2-bath. And we'll say, well, we'll tell you what, we have a 4-bed, 2-bath, but that means you get an office, or that means you get a den, or that means you get a closet, a walk-in closet. And 9 times out of 10, they've already seen the price for the 3, so they're perfectly fine with the 4, and they'll just go ahead and grab the 4. Or sometimes we have people that are just looking for 1 bedroom, mostly college students, and we ask them if they have roommates. If they don't, then we place them ourselves. They take a little quiz at the end of their application, just saying how they want their apartment to be, who they want to live with, and then we do all the placements ourselves.
Yeah, right. The roommate matching, right? Yep. Which is a whole skill in itself, right?
Yeah.
Hey, would you like to learn more about Kahuna Investments in our deal room? Let's do virtual coffee. Book a 15-minute call with us so we can learn more about your investment goals and how Kahuna Investments can help. Go to kahunainvestments.com/coffee to book your call today. Again, that's kahunainvestments.com/coffee. Let's have some virtual coffee and get to know one another.
So let's talk about the managing. So that's kind of the leasing aspect. That's a lot of what you guys do. Like, and you're our liaison to the college, right? So because you're already a student, you have access to the college, which we can't. And unfortunately, this college does not like outside.
No, they don't.
People like us, right? But we still find a way.
It's working.
Right? It's working. We cannot name the things that we do, but we just do things, right? And they work. But so there's that part of being the liaison for the college and being able to reach students that we wouldn't normally get. But then now there's also managing the community, right? So these college kids, they come in, they have, like, this is like normal, like, I'm thinking of Amazon, right? Everybody's Amazon and stuff. By the way, I'm looking at Amazon containers, by the way, a big like thing to bring into the office. I don't know if you know that, but like that's something we're looking at. Like it's I'm trying to think it's an Amazon storage thing. So we just put like stuff in there. I think Amazon will do it themselves and put it in there and stock it. Right? Like we're working on that. We're looking at that. That's our next little new add-on to the whole project.
That would be really nice.
But right now we do it the old-fashioned way, which is we take it all, right?
Yep.
And then you got to service that, right? So they come in, they're like, hey.
They say, I'm looking for my mail, and then we go look for it. We always joke that we're leasing agents, but we're also mailmen and babysitters and all this stuff. Me and Van actually fight over who gets to sort the mail in the morning because we actually like it so much.
Now, and that's something we're just getting ready to. So this is a big issue at this property. Was we had the longest time. We had all these mailboxes, and they got where we lost keys, and it was just a bad experience. And then the keys to the back weren't working. Have we gotten those fixed yet? We're close.
We are very close. Yes, all of Bald Street has their keys.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Yay! And so. We used to have all the mail in-house. For now, we're finally starting to get it back in the boxes where they should go. But it was a whole mess. And that's something different than, it's really weird because usually the post office would be responsible for putting the mail in the mailboxes. But because this is an old property that was never set up that way initially with the post office, we have to do it.
Yep.
Which is a whole chore. Can you imagine? It's 511 boxes, by the way. That's
it's a lot. And the keys in the back are stubborn.
Yeah, right. So for the meek or the mild, it is a real job to get it done.
Chore and a half.
It's got to feel like an accomplishment when you're like, thank God, right?
Every time.
But the interaction that you guys have with the staff, or with people when they come in. Talk about that experience. What is that like?
Yeah. So as soon as somebody walks through the door, we say, "Hi, how can we help you?" And they always look at us like we're crazy for just 0.5 seconds. And then they say whatever they need. So if they need bail, we ask them where they live, and then we ask for IDs, and then we go look for it. If they have a question about leasing or apartments, normally Van or I handle it. And then if we need something, Jess is just a desk away, and we ask her for help.
Yep. And then how do you guys get your reviews? Because you guys have been getting lots of reviews lately.
Yeah. Jess is great at that. Jess is a review girl. She stalks our reviews every morning every morning before we come in, and because she gets there a little bit before we do, and always looks at them. We actually did a contest, and we asked people to write a review, and they got entered into a basket. We do always ask for honest reviews, so we're never pushing people to give 5 stars if they don't feel that they should be giving 5 stars.
Yep.
And we gave away our basket winner, I think last week, and she was super excited. She's super nice. She's lived on property for a little bit, but It's also just a cool way, especially for all the people that always come in. We have about 4 or 5, more than that, probably about 10 or 15 people that come in almost every single day.
Regulars.
Yeah, they love us. We love them. And so it's just super nice to hear all of their opinions on the property. And like I said, like you said earlier too, now that Madison has taken over, the shift in the reviews is
everything's changed. Everything's changed, right? Because the whole staff has changed, right? It was really very toxic and very weird energy, and it was very confrontational, us against them. Now it's like everybody's family, right? Yeah. And you guys are so much more welcoming and likable and energy and radiance and life, and it changes the whole concept of the asset, right?
Yeah.
And so
want to come to work.
Yeah. So this was a property. So for everybody listening right now, Chloe's had a property that when we first bought it, it was 100% 3 years in a row. COVID happened. We went to 45. Then the next year was 42. It went worse. And then we went to, I think we're at, what are we at this year? 70.
Released at 71.4, I think.
Yeah. So I think we're right at 70 this year. And then we're going to increase this year. We don't know where we're going to end up. We're still doing it. But
we're going to get more.
We'll get to eventually 90 by spring semester. So that's
yeah.
And that will be we'll get back to 100% probably the year after. But it really started, we had a huge deficit when we went to 45. And that was where the college really floundered as well. And that their enrollment, I read an article the other day, it was 12th straight year of enrollment decline. Right. So there's not as many students. Now, with that said, but we need 511 students at our property. Right. So that's going to be the goal this coming next year. And I think that you guys are the crew to make it happen. What do you think about that, Chloe?
I agree. We have actually been talking about, I just told Madison, so because of the program I'm going to be in, I'm only going to be able to work a lot less than I am right now when this next school year comes around. And I just told her, I was like, if I'm not here next leasing term, it's going to be so easy because people are wanting to come back. People are going to want to renew. We had so many people that moved out after a year because of the past problems. And I just know that this next year, people are going to be calling us wanting to renew.
Yep. I'm ready. Let's do it. Right. Yeah, so you'll be able to get the renewals, and renewals come in October. You're still going to be with us, right, in October?
Hopefully, yes.
Okay. Well, listen, and this is the thing with the CAs. CAs come and go, right? Great CAs will always be remembered, right? No, but we're going to task, well, she doesn't know this yet. We're going to task her to find her replacement. If she's leaving us for any amount of time, she's got to find another person just like.
Oh, I believe that.
So, but it really does. And my whole goal of this whole series is to really put an exclamation point on staff and people like Chloe. Because Chloe, you believe. I feel like you're a true believer in our concept and our ideal. And you surround that with the right people like Madison and you, Jessica and James, right? And together you guys have created a very cohesive unit.
Yeah.
Right? What will you take from this experience that will help you in your next endeavors?
So much. Honestly, I never ever thought I could be best friends with my boss. So that's something that's going to help, especially being in a dental office. If I'm in corporate too, they're a little less personable. And that's something I was worried about coming into this, was that it is just a leasing job and there's 5 people in the office. Like, I didn't think it would be very personable. But now I know how to make it personable and how to like build those connections. And I also think once Kahuna took over and it was just Madison and I in the office, I genuinely, as it sounds a little like crazy, but like I actually kind of found out what hard work was. Because I'm normally not really worked like crazy hard. I mean, I've always worked on a staff of 30, 40 people, and it was just Madison and I for 3 months while Entrada was down. And so it just kind of showed me that like I can pretty much do whatever I want as long as I'm wanting to do it and I'm having fun and enjoying it.
And you had a great leader saying, champion the way with you, right? Saying, this is what we're going to do, right? And she wasn't deterred. She wasn't, that's what you saw in Madison, was like, she was going to be like, I'm your ride or die. I'm going to make this happen. And I believe, and she was a true believer in the idea of what we had formed and what we'd put out there. And we all knew it was going to take work and effort. And we tasked her with that job of, you got to build the right people, the right team, the right systems, and plow forward, and people will believe in you and your idea. And because it was the shared vision that I passed on to them. And I'm watching it happen right in front of me as we're doing this interview. Right. So it's magical, right? And the goal is too, for our little company, right? We understand that for a lot of this, our CAs and students, right? And like, this is just a stepping stone, right? You guys are destined. You're going to college to be great and do great things. And some people fall in love with this business and they stay. Like Madison. Madison was a student. Yep. She was in College Station. She's like, I think I like this. And she's like, I think I want to maybe make it a career. And so we're championing her in that endeavor. Like, we want her to put her in roles of leadership. She's proving that she can and she will, right?
Yeah,
and then
she's the best.
Yeah. And you have people like Chloe that is here for a season, right? And, she brought a lot to the table, and she's hopefully getting a lot that she'll bring to her next endeavors.
Yeah, absolutely. I never ever thought that I would do well in an office setting, especially calling people. I'm very talkative in person, but like on the phone, it just feels sometimes awkward and stiff to me. And people are a little less nice to you when they can see your face. Yeah. And so I was super worried about that. But honestly, I mean, I feel like I can do whatever I wanted now. That
smile goes right through the phone.
Good.
Well, I am so super proud of you, Chloe. I've really enjoyed your tenure. I hope you stay as long as you possibly can, even if it's in a part-time basis, that we keep you on for as long as you humanly want to. And again, I just wanted to highlight your attitude, your vigor of life, and just the way you approach the game. It's so nice. And again, this is where I say, people like you can move mountains. Right?
That's the goal.
Yeah. So any advice that you would give to anybody else that's out there in your position, what would you say to them?
Stick it out. Because the first couple weeks, I was a little freaked out because, like I said, again, it was just me and Madison. And I was like, I don't know how this is going to get better. We were talking to you and talking to Candy almost every day. We need to get pre-leased. And Madison and I were like, what do we do? Like, we were calling everybody that we could, and Entrada was down. So we were having to use like spreadsheet after spreadsheet after spreadsheet. And it can feel crazy and overwhelming, but it's so like fulfilling and rewarding. Like, when everything's done, like,
you came through the storm.
Yeah. And we are so excited for moving. Like, I never ever thought my boyfriend actually lived in Eagle this past year, and I came with him when he moved in, and I was like, I would hate this. Like, I felt bad for the poor lady handing me my keys. I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. There's so many people, and we are so excited. And I'm like, how does this happen? Like,
yeah, because you're prepared.
Yeah.
Because you guys are prepared. You know, you're ready for it. Right.
Yeah. And
what's the difference? Yeah.
Like, everybody, when you don't rely on people around you, you're not going to get anything done. You can't do anything by yourself in a team setting.
Yep. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Chloe, again, thank you for your time.
Thanks for having me.
I'll ask this because I'm not sure how you're going to answer. Any books that you read, right? Any books? Are you a book reader? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Any books you've read that you'd like to share that's had an impact on you or your life?
Oh, this is a good one. I love reading. Actually, I just started another book yesterday morning. Honestly, I did read this book. It's called 19 Minutes by Jodi Picoult. It is a fiction book, so it's not like a motivational book, but it's about an incident in a school and about how like everybody overcame the situation and everything. And I actually read it at a pretty young age. I would recommend being a little bit older, probably 15, 16, because it does have some graphic content in it. But the book is so good. It really changes your outlook on public schools and just like being in class and just being grateful for what you have and just how quickly everything can change. And I switched to public school after going to Christian school for a while. So for me, I think that book was like really good. I know it's not like a nonfiction, but it was a really
It's all right. Listen, man, I've read this book called This Present Darkness, right? This is it's a Christian book, by the way, but and it shed so much light on there's so many books that can teach you lots of things, right?
Yeah.
Readers are leaders, by the way, right?
That's why I love reading, because I think every book I read, even if it's a thriller, like I feel like I'm learning something.
Yeah, there you go. Guys, this is why you want to watch and listen to this podcast, because I tell you, I say this all the time, but I don't know of any other podcast that does it the way we do, that we bring on the good, bad, the ugly. We talk about our flaws, our failures, our wins. And Chloe's a great example of just sharing, like she came in, she left the property because it sucked, right? It wasn't good. But she came and stepped up and helped make it better, right? Which is really the Kahuna way. We want to make things mo better. And she's definitely done that and improved it and brought her personality and her gifts to the equation, which is going to yield great results. Guys, success is crazy how success works. It starts with a dream, an idea, a vision, right? And most of us, we stop. Unfortunately, we stop. We have these things that we want to do and we never ever engage. We never put it in drive. And it's a shame. It's a shame because we are so great. We are powerful beyond measure. Chloe is powerful beyond measure. And if people would understand how powerful your ideas and dreams are, you would protect them, you would shield them, and you would feed them and grow them each and every day. Because if I've learned anything in my 49 years here on the earth, right, is that success starts with an idea. And if you believe it, you can achieve it. And your paradise is absolutely possible.